Hello, everybody. I'm Nico Nicelli, and today we're covering a story that shook the entire nation and changed the way we think about rideshare safety forever. This is the tragic murder of Samantha Josephson, a young, beautiful college student, just 21 years old, about to graduate from the University of South Carolina with her whole life ahead of her. Let's get started. She had already been accepted to law school at Drexel University. Her future was bright, but on the night of March 29, 2019, everything was stolen from her in an instant, all because she got into a car she thought was her Uber. This is Lomax's allegedly. Before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it helps us bring you more stories like this one. Now, let's get into it. Samantha Josephson grew up in Robbinsville, New Jersey. She was the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into, smart, driven, and loved by everyone who knew her. Her parents, Seymour and Marcy Josephson, raised her alongside her sister Sydney. Samantha was a political science major at the University of South Carolina, and she had big dreams. She wanted to become a lawyer, and she had just gotten her acceptance letter to Drexel University's Klein School of Law. Her family was so proud of her. She had worked incredibly hard, and everything was falling into place. Samantha also had a loving boyfriend. The two of them were happy together, and by all accounts, life was good. She was a social, outgoing young woman who loved spending time with her friends, and that's exactly what she was doing the night of March 29, 2019, the last night anyone would see Samantha Josephson alive. That Friday night, Samantha went out with friends to a popular bar called Bird Dog in the Five Points neighborhood of Columbia, South Carolina. Five Points is a well-known area near the university campus, packed with bars, restaurants, and college students on any given weekend. Samantha was having a great time with her friends. At some point during the night, she got separated from her group. It happens. You're out at a crowded bar, you lose track of people. It's not unusual at all. Around 1:30 in the morning, Samantha was seen on surveillance cameras standing alone on the street near Hardin Street, just outside the bar district. She had done what millions of us have done. She pulled out her phone and ordered an Uber to take her home. She was being responsible. She wasn't driving after drinking. She called a rideshare, just like we've all done countless times. But what happened next is every parent's worst nightmare. Surveillance footage shows a black Chevrolet Impala pulling up near Samantha. She walked over to the car and got in the back seat. She believed this was her Uber, but it wasn't. The driver of that car was not an Uber driver. His name was Nathaniel David Rowland, a 24-year-old man from New Zion, South Carolina, and he had no connection to any rideshare company whatsoever. Samantha had just gotten into a stranger's car, and she had no idea. When Samantha didn't come home that night, her friends and boyfriend grew worried. By the next morning, her roommates realized she had never returned to her apartment. Her boyfriend tried calling and texting her repeatedly, but there was no answer. Her phone was going straight to voicemail. The panic set in fast. Her friends contacted her family back in New Jersey, and by Saturday afternoon, Samantha Josephson was officially reported missing. The University of South Carolina community rallied immediately. Flyers went up everywhere. Social media posts spread like wildfire. Everyone was looking for Samantha. Her father, Seymour, drove all the way down from New Jersey to South Carolina to search for his daughter. The Columbia Police Department launched a full investigation. They started pulling surveillance footage from the Five Points area, and that's when they spotted it. The footage of Samantha getting into that black Chevy Impala. Tragically, the search for Samantha came to a devastating end just about 14 hours after she was reported missing. On Saturday afternoon, March 30th, two turkey hunters in a rural area of Clarendon County, about 70 miles from Columbia, discovered Samantha's body in a wooded area off a dirt road. She had been stabbed multiple times. The medical examiner later confirmed that Samantha suffered numerous sharp force injuries, and the wounds were inflicted by a sharp object consistent with a bladed weapon. She had fought for her life. There were defensive wounds on her hands and arms, but in the end, she couldn't escape. The news of Samantha's death sent shockwaves through the university and the entire country, but law enforcement was already closing in on her killer. Remember that black Chevy Impala from the surveillance footage? Investigators had been working around the clock, and in the early morning hours of Saturday, March 30th, just hours before Samantha's body was found, a Columbia police officer spotted a black Chevy Impala driving near the Five Points area. The officer pulled the vehicle over. Behind the wheel was Nathaniel David Rowland. When police searched the vehicle, they found something chilling. There was blood inside the car, in the passenger area, and in the trunk. They also found Samantha's cell phone inside the vehicle. And they discovered that the child's safety locks on the rear doors had been activated, meaning once Samantha got into that back seat, she could not open the doors from the inside. She was trapped. Rowland was immediately taken into custody. Investigators also found bleach and cleaning supplies in Rowland's vehicle, suggesting he had attempted to clean up the evidence. But luminol testing revealed blood throughout the interior of the car, blood that was later confirmed through DNA analysis to belong to Samantha Josephson. The case against Rowland was building rapidly. Nathaniel Rowland was charged with the kidnapping and murder of Samantha Josephson. He was held without bond. As details emerged about Rowland, a disturbing picture came into focus. He had a criminal history and had previously been arrested on other charges. People who knew him described him as troubled, but nothing in his past could have prepared anyone for the horrific violence he inflicted on Samantha that night. The trial of Nathaniel Rowland began in July of 2021, more than 2 years after Samantha's murder. The prosecution laid out a meticulous case. They presented the surveillance footage showing Samantha getting into Rowland's car. They presented the DNA evidence, the blood found throughout the vehicle, and Samantha's phone recovered from the car. They presented testimony from forensic experts, law enforcement officers, and witnesses who placed Rowland in the Five Points area that night. Rowland's defense team argued that someone else could have used his car that night, suggesting he was not the one who picked up Samantha. They challenged the DNA evidence and questioned the investigation. But the evidence was overwhelming. Multiple witnesses identified Rowland. His own girlfriend testified that she had seen him cleaning his car with bleach the morning after Samantha disappeared, and the child safety locks on the rear doors told a story of premeditation. After a trial that lasted about a week, the jury deliberated for just about an hour before returning their verdict. Nathaniel David Rowland was found guilty of the murder and kidnapping of Samantha Josephson. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. There would be no second chances for the man who took Samantha's life. In the courtroom, Samantha's parents gave powerful victim impact statements. Her mother, Marcy, spoke about the daughter she lost, the future that was stolen, and the unbearable pain of burying her child. Her father, Seymour, looked at Rowland and told him that he had taken everything from their family. It was heartbreaking. No parent should ever have to go through what the Josephsons went through. But out of this unimaginable tragedy, Samantha's family chose to fight for change. Her parents became vocal advocates for rideshare safety. Seymour and Marcy Josephson worked tirelessly to promote legislation that would require rideshare companies to implement better safety features and require riders to verify their ride before getting in. Their efforts led to the creation of what became known as Samy's Law, named after Samantha. Samy's Law was introduced in the United States Congress and calls for enhanced safety regulations for rideshare companies. including requiring illuminated signs on rideshare vehicles, front license plate requirements, and improved safety information for passengers. Several states have also passed their own versions of Sami's law at the state level. The message is simple but so important. Before you get into any rideshare vehicle, check the license plate. Check the make and model of the car. Check the driver's name and photo. Ask the driver, who are you here for? If anything doesn't match, do not get in that car. These few seconds of verification could save your life. Samantha Josephson's story is proof of that. Samantha Josephson was 21 years old. She was a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend, and a friend. She was weeks away from graduating college and starting the next chapter of her life. She did what so many of us do every single weekend. She went out with friends and she called a ride home. She was being responsible, and it cost her everything. Not because of anything she did wrong, but because a predator was waiting in the darkness, pretending to be something he wasn't. So as we wrap up this episode, remember the lesson that came from her story. Always check your ride, always verify before you get in, and share this message with everyone you love. Let's make sure that what happened to Samantha Josephson never happens to anyone else. I'm Nico Nicelli. This has been Lomax's Allegedly. Until next time, stay safe out there.